It would be great to have someone who could do our work for us, right? Someone to prevent us from making mistakes. Someone to assist with our routine professionally and allow us to devote our time to communicating with our closest people. If only we could get results without wasting our time for nothing. Unfortunately, it's impossible in real life. But wait, light Forex social trading. Spend your time doing what really matters to you.
Hi guys, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. It's the first Friday of the month, meaning it's a non-farm payrolls day. It's Friday, first Friday of the month. Piotr here, meaning that we are going to cover this non-farm payrolls live, only here, Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Before we start, guys, quick risk warning. Please bear in mind, trading FX and margin carries a high level of risk, may not be suitable for all investors who can sustain a loss of some or all initial investment. So please do not invest the money you cannot afford to lose. Seek education, gain experience before risking real money. However, past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Alright, so we have like 15 minutes. Don't forget two things. There is also Canadian data. Canadian job market is going to take place. So I'm going to be interested only on 4 charts today. Upper part is a euro dollar, dollar yen. Lower side is euro CAD, USD CAD. From the USD CAD perspective, it's easy. We are testing support, so I'm looking for some kind of the combination, good non-farm payrolls, weak Canadian job market, and pushing the price higher. In case of the stronger dollar, I'm looking for this 46 to be broken for good, and we are going to go at least towards 45. Euro dollar for now looking to sell based on the plan we had yesterday. Nothing has changed since yesterday. And dollar yen, in case of the failure at NFP, I'm looking to sell dollar yen. So guys, let's switch to the smaller time frames. All right. We are going to connect with Michał, our macro guy. We'll see what he has for us. But before we do that, few things. We do have NFP, non-farm payrolls, and the good thing is that we don't have anything later on, because very often it's situation that is a one move after the non-farm payrolls, and after the, Michigan or whatever, there is an opposite move, right? The good thing is that here we probably we are not gonna be disturbed. The worst, maybe not worst. The bad thing is that 6:30 p.m. CET, 5:30 p.m. London. So meaning when there are only US guys on the market. So after US close, we have a Powell speech. All right. So the Fed Powell speech, 6:30 p.m. CET, 5:30 p.m. London. Also, it's worth to mention that the China cut RRR by 0.5% for some small banks is the 100 basis points. Meaning that they are going to. It's some let's call it some kind of additional quantitative easing, so the gold is weakening by this. What I'm trying to tell you by this, that I think many unscheduled things might happen over the weekend, so probably you don't wanna stay very exposed over the weekend. Again, one more thing here before we connect with Michał. There are few expectations when we are talking about the banks. UBS is expecting 209,000, Nomura 190, Citi 181, Morgan Stanley 181. What else we have? Goldman Sachs just 150, as well as JP Morgan only 150. Deutsche 140. Bank of America Merrill Lynch 130. So that's what we have in the case of the market expectation. The median 150. So looks like there, the ADP has to be confirmed yet, right? But also very, very important from our perspective as FX traders. I know that everyone likes to watch the headline, right? Is it, wow, 250? Oh, how bad? It's 50 only. And then the algo are reacting into that. But the truth is that from our perspective, hi Sebastian. I think that the truth is that from our perspective, the most important thing is the earnings, the number related to the earnings, right? So that's devil is always in details, and that's what we are going to focus on as well. All right, so let me connect with Michał. So please bear with me. I'll be back with Michał within a few seconds. Michał, hi, how are you doing?
Hello. Very good.
Very good. Okay, but we are short of time.
Yeah, I know.
At least ahead of the announcement. So my plan is you are going to give us what you have ahead of the non-farm payrolls. You are going to stay with us during the announcement, and then we will try to summarize what we got. Unless there is gonna to be some setup on the chart, so then we will Could that be like this?
Okay, but nothing about the CAD?
No. It's non-farm payrolls and Canadian data. What you've got for us?
Yeah,
all over to you.
Only for okay, never mind. Yes, about the non-farm payrolls, very briefly, we can say that the expectations are mixed, and also the indicators about it are mixed. But the Goldman, which you said, is prognosing 150, and they are saying they're justifying this because of the growth of the non-farm payrolls is slowing down, and we see also that. And also it's very seasonable, and the first reading from the August are generally weaker over across the year, and we see that also from the other indices like ISM manufacturing employment index also slowed down by 4.3%. It's below 50 points right now. So, and it's the first time since 36 months. So yeah, but on the other hand, the ADP was much better. So I guess from the point of view from the reading, my prognosis is it will be somewhere around very close around the estimation around 160, right? So from the reading point of view, but yeah, we have to also pay attention to this very closely. Yeah, also I don't catch that if you mentioned about this Fed rate cut, right? Because the reading strong to the downside may be the indicator for upcoming rate cut on the 18th of September, right? From the Fed. So I think when we will see a as very very bad data from US. It will be a big reaction, might be some fireworks. And about the Canadian dollar, we can say that right now everything goes well for the Canadian dollar, because we had this information about very positive about the trade wars. So it is very positive for the Canadian dollar, since they are the very big exporter of commodities, right? Oil including. We saw that on the chart that the price was they were beating down the US dollar very hard yesterday, and even though the ADP data didn't help that much to recover.
Yeah, because it's not only the China news related. It's also the internal the Bank of Canada. We were covering live. If you remember, there was a positive tone from the Bank of Canada members, and that's the data. The latest data wasn't that bad. That's, I think, the only what can't hurt right now is this job market and the oil prices. But
yes.
I think oil prices next week. Back to you.
That can be the one thing, because the latest data from the Canadian economy were good, we can say, at least like a B plus. Something like that. So I guess it will. And the Powell stated this Powell statements from several months are the same, right? They are keeping the rates untouched until at the end of the year, and the further escalation. Yeah. So I think from my point of view, I am a short Canadian dollar. So I would be glad if the US data will be very good, and weak Canadian dollar, at least for today. That's my personal point of view, but overall I think it will be a little bit opposite, unfortunately.
All right. So focus on your dollar CAD. So let's do that way. Let's disconnect here. I'm going to go through euro dollar chart and dollar yen chart, and I'll be back to you right after the announcement.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. And let's switch to the chart. Goodbye, Michał, for now.
Yeah. Goodbye.
All right. 1 minute left, guys. Just a reminder for those who were not able to participate yesterday. Euro dollar, we have this supply based on the daily chart, green zone, and inside we have some possible supply levels based on the intraday. We are talking about the levels above 1055. The thing is that we hit the stops we were discussing yesterday, so I'm gonna to watch the carefully. From the selling perspective, the sellers have to try to defend 1060. From the buyer's perspective, the situation is a little bit more comfortable right now, short term, because we were able to break through the weekly open, blue dotted line, as well as the Monday high, green dotted line, this yellow zone here. So that might be some kind of the demand zone here, and especially if you are going to do some easy stuff, as you can see, that might ideally work that way. So from the buyer's perspective, they may want to try to defend 110. Bears from the higher time frame perspective are going to try to fight for the move below 110. All right, guys, good luck to everyone. Let's have a look what we have. First sticks are against. $130, $160 expected. I'm looking for earnings. Unemployment rate 3.7. Canadian, strong. So looking to sell probably USD CAD. Probably USD CAD is what I'm gonna to look to sell because it's opposite to what I've been thinking about. But guys, devil is in details. Now I got that one. Devil is in details, guys. Average hourly earnings, month to month, 0.4, much better than what market was expecting. Year to year, 3.2. Expectations 3. Previous was revised 3.3. Be careful, guys, trying to sell the dollar. From the dollar perspective, don't get me wrong, I think it's a good. I think it's a good from dollar perspective. I'm not saying it's a good overall, like to trying to hold the sentiment, because this is another argument against all those who are saying and calling Fed to cut 50 basis. This data is showing that we shouldn't cut at all. This data is showing we shouldn't cut at all. Jeez, what a mess. Looking to sell euro dollar, guys. Don't forget we have a Powell later on. Would like to see some a little bit higher levels. Okay, I'm looking to sell at 130, guys. Small exposure. You know, the whole week was good. I don't want to be, you know, losing everything. And yeah, stop is going to be above this yellow 47. 46. We also took the stops, here on dollar yen and trying to go higher, but I'm not sure how the stocks is going to react into that data. So, you know, not necessarily I want to be dollar yen long, at least not now. So remember, we were laughing yesterday that President Trump leaked the number. It is good. Looks like no, it's connected. So being filled, but it looks like it's not refreshing. And it's trying to go against. $35 trading right now. In case of I'm going to be stopped out, right? I'm still going to watch the euro dollar from the short side perspective, but in relation to our yesterday plan, so a little bit higher, right? Here is the reaction. Here is the reaction into the non-farm payrolls right now. Let's try to connect with Michał. Let's check what he has for us. So please stay with us. Hi Michał, so what's your view? What's your view?
Hello. Wait a second. You're too loud for me. Sorry.
Sorry.
Don't want to double the voice. Yeah, I still managed to survive, but yeah, overall, yeah, it's changed the point of view right now, because my trade was from the Wednesday evening, and yeah, I thought that. Yeah, after the rate decision, it'll be continuation to the upside, according to this trade tensions ban. But later, then everything turned turned on around. But you know, you said that the devil is in the details. But what I want to just want to add is about the business and the consumer confidence about in US, because. There are polls that, and various indices showing that the consumer, the labor, the labor force is feeling that less and less confidence because of because difference between between the jobs that are plentiful and jobs that are hard to get, that are well paid, and this difference is getting bigger and bigger. So like you know, there's the ADP, the new jobs are getting better, but the quality of the new jobs is not that good. And 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 this indicator that the non-farm payrolls are the growth of the non-farm payrolls is slowing down. We see that today that the reading is much lower. So I guess it will not be as good as you said because of those average earnings, right?
I think that the earnings from the dollar perspective, earnings are good, and they might support what you've said. My takeaway from that report, of course, I might be totally wrong, but my takeaway from that is that we might see dollar more or less stable versus euro, let's say, versus Australian dollar. Not sure about the Canadian dollar because the Canadian job market was strong, but Euro Aussie, I think we shouldn't see some kind of the huge dollar sell-off unless we are changing overall sentiment.
Yes.
But it might hurt eventually indices at some point later during the day. Looks like I'm gonna be stopped out on my short euro dollar. I've been trying to join the party, but looks like wrong direction for now. I've been trying to take the advantage of this upper shadow, so trying to join around the 30. But again, I'm going to look around again, switching to the original plan, and I'm going to watch eventually what's going to happen if we are going to hit 1060, 1070, if we are going to see any kind of the turnaround. Probably more fireworks after the US cash open. Would you like to add something about the Canadian job market?
About the Canadian job market, from what can I say? It's like need to be humble and just I thought it will. I thought it will be that way. I didn't want to, but it did turn out.
The
Canadian economy.
Market is. You shouldn't discuss with the market, right?
Yes, that's right. I was like, my point of view was about those trade war, and we see that there's a general trend, and it drive this pair, the USD cut direction, and after the rate decision, I thought that okay, it will, and it did. And strengthen the Canadian dollar, and try that. And I took advantage after on that. I shorted, but later, okay, we will come back to the normal situation, and it will still be weakening, and just looking for better place to go long on USD CAD. But it turned out that the market, thought the situation in the Canada is too good to the word to underestimate it. And later then we saw the information about the new talks with the China, and everything went the other way.
Okay, you shouldn't cry. You shouldn't cry. You should listen to the market. Listen, you've got still the chance. You still got the chance in the Canadian dollar with the move back above 32. Not sure if it's going to happen. So all right, I'm still watching euro dollar from the selling perspective. I might give one more chance to the dollar, as I mentioned, around or above 1060. From the Canadian dollar perspective, I'm skipping in case of the continuation to the downside. I may want to wait for the price to get back above 32. Then and only then it might be some kind of the new hope for the bulls once we are going to get back above this zone. Michał, thank you very much. Wish you great weekend. Please recharge your batteries and be ready for the next week.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, same to you, same to everyone else who's watching, and till next time, guys. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Michał. Take care. Goodbye. All right, so let's have a look. Yeah, that's the zone from the early chart perspective, the yesterday price action. In case of we are going to break through today's high, that might be the case. To try to look for more stops. We took out some stops to the downside, right? Taking into the consideration this consolidation around here. The very small and tiny range of the euro dollar today. So in that case, I'm not gonna be surprised, that we are going to end the day close to some kind of the dodgy candle, and in that case, if we are going to close around 1035, that's to be honest, that's gonna be the small success of the buyers, right? With the move back above the psychological 110. So yeah, let's wait and see for a few more minutes if and what can we get from that euro dollar. And yeah, USD CAD. The move back towards 32, the question is if it's only retest and continuation to the downside, or if we are going to see something more, something bigger, right? Well, Emmanuel, for now it's it's still tiny range, right? Maybe I took that. I've been thinking that. Yeah, let me explain. I've been thinking that once we move and broke through the intraday low, we are, based on the number, we are going to just get back. Let me show you a different way. Yeah, we are going to get back, retest. So that was the idea of this short, but yeah, market simply is a little bit stronger than what I thought. We have some pool of liquidity for sure. We have here and here, right? So maybe that could be the case as well. So we took out daily low, so we wash out some stops, right? So it's time to wash out some stops to the upside. And exactly that's what we are writing, Emmanuel, right? Exactly. The big question is, in relation to the Canadian dollar, what was priced after the Bank of Canada here, right, in the move to the downside. But that's the big test right now for Canadian dollar. That's the big test here. Same EuroCAD. Hi Fabio. I'm not sure if it's going to continue. You know, the China cut their RRR, and that what's pushed gold lower. You know, the move to the upside today might be some kind of the hedge. As I mentioned at the beginning, I do expect some, you know, unscheduled events gonna take place. That's why I'm not watching gold today. We were trading gold to the downside yesterday. I closed too early. But overall, we read the market correctly in terms of the gold yesterday. Exactly, Emmanuel. Exactly. That was one of the reasons behind this intraday short, that market will try to think that way. But looks like we have to wait at least towards the end of the hour, top of the hour. We will see. That's why, Emmanuel, exactly what you wrote. That's why later today I'm going to watch indices very closely, especially Nasdaq, because we are at very interesting levels from the Nasdaq perspective, and we are discussing these levels for quite some time. Not now, you know. First hour, first 30 minutes, first hour, there might be some more stop count trying to take out the pre-market high and stuff like this, but then I think it might be worth to watch. But guys, don't forget we have the Powell later today as well. Hi Pavel, how you doing? Gaming, dollar yen. I think we might get an answer in regards to the dollar yen after the cash open. I don't think, I mean, try to understand me. The data, the payrolls, I think is in favor of dollar, but looks like it's only my way of thinking, because I've been short and I've been stop out on euro dollar, right? But exactly what Emmanuel wrote, and that's what I've been talking about as well. Earnings is this small detail, but always devil is in details, right? And that's what I think at some point it might play its role. I'm not sure if it's going to happen today or maybe as early as next week. Well, I'm trying to say that the earnings, it might be another a little bit of the scary thing for the markets. I'm talking about the indices, right? So in case of the a little bit sharper pullback on indices, dollar yen probably is not going to go much higher. We are right now, from the dollar yen perspective, we are right now inside the possible supply zone. And we were discussing that spike towards 107.30 might be might work as a selling opportunity. But guys, let's be honest and let's try to answer a very easy question, right? Because about this 107.30 we were discussing for almost a week. Right? So that's the spike yesterday we had here, right, on the dollar yen. Let's try to explain and let's try to discuss about this, or let's try to agree or disagree, whatever. That's the spike, let's say, we are waiting for, right, towards 107.20, 107.30. But then, guys, look what is going on. can you see any kind of the sharp rejection? We are still holding the breakout bottom. We are still holding that's why I'm not in a rush to try to sell dollar yen right now. Even I've been talking that I'm gonna to look at these levels from the selling opportunity. But if I can see here on the chart that there is a no rejection the way I would like to see, well, I have to be patient. Even I have to think maybe as early as next week we will try to look for the opportunity to try to go long dollar yen. Why? Because from the higher time frame perspective, we were discussing if we are going to get back above the green zone, the next wave of possible supply is above 108. So we have another figure to the upside. And then from the weekly chart perspective, blue line over here, it's like 109. So plenty of space to the upside. So with dollar yen, you know, I'm gonna be very, very cautious today, unless we are going to get some kind of the strong sell-off on the indices. But because it's Friday, if you are bearish when we are talking about the indices, you don't want to see the sell-off right at the very beginning, unless it's gonna be through the whole day. It's Friday. Don't forget about the activity from the President Trump side, right? What would you like? What you want to see on the chart on the indices? Some kind of the consolidation at the beginning of the US cash session. Then you want to see some spike above the pre-market high, and then after the lunch in US, right? So the second part of the US session, I'm talking about the indices, then you wanna see at the very beginning slow move to the downside, a little bit of the bounce back, and then towards the end of the session, in that way, only in that way, bears got the chance to leave upper shadow, longer one on the daily chart, and might do some damage on the weekly chart. And gold, to be honest with you, today, previous week I've been selling gold 3 times, if you remember, guys, and all those 3 times we were like break even. Yesterday it was very good entry, but because of this combination, if you remember yesterday meeting, they were trying to turn around, right? And that's what scared me a bit. So I've been profitable on the gold yesterday. Unfortunately, not the way what was my expectations, right? Then, you know, we discussed that it was my mistake that I closed too early. So today I'm leaving gold today because I'm not gonna be surprised if we see some ups and downs. Some guys may want to try to hedge ahead of the weekend in case of the some kind, you know, let's call them black swan events, because I'm pretty sure, if not yet, we are going to get some kind of the President Trump Twitter activity in relation to the China cut, right? So I'm pretty sure Powell and the whole Fed is going to be blamed today. I'm certain in 90% that we are going to get this type of the comment from the either President Trump or White House administration. Of course, it's not gonna it's gonna produce probably the spike only, nothing else, nothing extraordinary. Guys, don't forget, next 3.5 hours, within the next 3.5 hours, we've got the Powell speech. So, you know, be careful for fireworks eventually when the Powell will appear and will talk. Looks like Canadian retested and trying to continue. What I don't like here is the bottom of this channel eventually. USD CAD weekly chart might be very interesting, but you know, trying to take the advantage of the weekly chart, we have to wait towards the end of the week. But looks like it might be outside week. So yeah, extremely bearish, especially that is from higher time frame perspective. We have new early candle, so we are going to check euro dollar in a second. But I want to show you this USD CAD outside week. So maybe, you know, sometimes the patient may pay much better than trying to be in rush. And that's, yeah, I've been trying to be in rush in euro dollar today. But still, as I mentioned, one more chance might be in place for euro dollar. If we see towards the London fixing, if we see 1060, 1070, that might be the case for me. And as you can see here, right, that's the huge possibility we are going to have this outside week. Okay, why I'm telling about that? Because it's worth to check what happened when we had outside week previously, right? So you know, what would be the plan in the Canadian dollar then? Retest of the previous week low eventually, right? So let's say our weekly close is going to be somewhere here, then probably the idea of retest of this previous week low, and then eventually trying to take the advantage and looking for these stops around 31, and then closer to the bottom to this possible demand, right? 30 again. Looks like it might be the plan for the Canadian dollar for next week. But we are going, of course, we are going to get back into that as early as Monday morning during our pre-London Open market, when we are going to cover pre-London Open live as usual. USD CAD. The current early candle is very similar to what we've seen post Bank of Canada. The only difference is that it was the break of the demand, and we are still inside the demand here, possible demand, of course. And the euro dollar. Post non-farm payrolls range 20 pips. No comments into that. Let's have a look if I can find option expiration levels. Give me some time. Let's check if there is anything which might work as a magnet for the we are trading 1.1050 euro dollar, 1 billion 50 and 45, almost 1.5 billion in between 40 and 50. So it might work as a magnet. It might work as a magnet. Dollar yen, we trading 680, 705, 2 billion total. So it might be very boring next 50 minutes because of the option expiration. So the you know, that's the one point, Emmanuel. The second point is the you know, the rumor, maybe not rumor, because they spoke that they are going to get back into the table. I'm talking about the trade talks as early as October. So that's what we were talking yesterday about, that it might keep market slowly grinding higher because of the hope, right? Also today's China cut is also might send positive signal. Because that's what we learned for a quite long time already, right? All bad news been treated by market as a good news, right? More empty money, more printing. Let's pump this up, right? On the other hand, I'm pretty sure, I'm not saying it's going to. I never say that way. I'm not saying it's going to happen today, or maybe it's going to happen next year, right? I simply don't know. But at some point, someone is going to turn the light off at the top. The music will stop playing, if you know what I'm talking about right now, in relation to the very good book and movie, Big Short. But of course, it's not going to happen. I'm not sure, maybe today, but we don't know when it's going to happen. But you cannot print forever. Actually, maybe you can. Actually, maybe you can. Now we are trying to break lower in the dollar yen. But again, it's similar like what we have on euro dollar, 22 pips range. Okay, so let's try to talk that weak dollar case based on the dollar index. So give me a second, guys. That's weekly chart, guys, right? The red color represents what is going on monthly. So we were discussing that it's we are around possible supply from the monthly chart, right? On the other hand, what happened yesterday, if you remember, we were discussing this as well. If that was the previous range ahead of this break here, so then the 50% of that range plus this demand here is gonna to work as a possible demand. That's what happened yesterday. So the only way to try to change short-term direction, in my opinion, on dollar, we have to get stronger sell-off towards end of the day. Right? To try to engulf more than 50% of that previous week candle. Right? Could that be the case? Of course it could be. But right now, even from the weekly chart, as you can see here, what we have right now, based on the weekly chart, it's just retest of the broken supply, right? So there was a breakout previous week. This week, as of now, rejection around the monthly, retest. But we are still doing higher lows, higher highs. Some kind of, on Friday, for sure. Of course, the things are going to change. In case of a little bit deeper close than where we are right now. By the way, Euro is testing my zone right now. We will try to check what is going on there. Some guys, for sure, they have to square their books and go flat towards the weekend. So yeah. So let's get back to the platform, because just hopefully we understand each other. I'm not saying that finally we are not gonna to change the direction, right? But I think we didn't change that direction yet. So if we have from the higher time frame perspective, higher lows, higher highs, so we know where we are. Okay, let's get back to the platform. Let's have a look at what this euro dollar is doing. Now, so we take out today's low, so for sure we take out some stops to the downside. Now we take out daily high, meaning that for sure we took out some stops to the upside. So the market makers are so happy. They already earned what they were supposed to earn to be fine for a weekend. The question is if something left for us, right? So that's what we are going to try to figure out once we are going to hit a little bit higher levels here. The thing is that we might not, right? Because we hit those upper shadows. That's the stop. But we closed just, you know, around this line. That's very interesting. There is the one warning sign. I'm not saying it's always working, because nothing is working 100% of the time. But check how much time and what kind of the effort, what kind of the results was here, and how fast we got back, right? $10.50, 10:45 option expiration, guys. 45 minutes. But yes, dollar is under pressure right now. Bottom of the channel and trying to get back, and that's going to be interesting as well here. So if that was the range, so they double it to the downside as well. Maybe some kind of the similarity here, but this rising prices here are not similar to what we've seen here. Well, it could also be Riley, what we've seen yesterday and today, pullback, and let's go and hit the top of the channel, right? Could be the case as well, why not? I've been manipulated because of this price action. We were trying to open already below the daily open, and I thought that we are going to go through this yesterday low. We are going to confirm this high and trying to retest at least levels close to the weekly open. It didn't materialize yet. So as long as we are above, because we got back above the daily open, that might be yeah, positive. No stop hunt here. All right, guys. So trying to summarize the day. I'm going to look for the price action towards 1060, 1070, and what's going to happen a little bit higher than what we've seen already. But because of just stop hunt, it might be that, you know, we are going to give up a bit, but that's the possible demand. So we've got the Riley base continuation to the upside, so be careful. This one here, right, with daily open, okay. So that's what I'm gonna to look for from the euro dollar perspective, and I'm going to watch euro dollar for now only. The second thing depends if the market sentiment somehow is going to be you know, switching towards risk off, and we are going to get back above 32.10 on the Canadian dollar with falling oil prices. Well, there's a, you know, we have to get back at least pre-Bank of Canada high to try to change that weekly candle. I don't think it's going to happen. Nothing for me here on the dollar yen, at least nothing for now. This one looks good, at least for 45. But in that case, overall euro should be weak, but it's not right now. Guys, it was my pleasure. Unfortunately, I didn't manage to have a good entry today on euro dollar, so maybe one more chance. Not to try to, you know, lose everything we were able to get over the course of the week. So maybe some kind of the very tiny exposure. We will see. Wish you all great weekend. Let's recharge the battery. Don't forget, Monday morning 8 AM CET, 7 AM London. We are going to cover pre-London Open live here on Light Forex Global YouTube channel. Powell later today, probably some comments from the President Trump Twitter account, as it's Friday, so it's like usual stuff. Again, thank you guys, it was my pleasure. Hopefully we learned something, all of us. Have a great one and see you around next week. Take care and goodbye, guys.